What up, UFC T-Dot breakdowns? UFC Fight Night Hermansson versus Strickland. This is take number 4 or possibly 5. My phone is only letting me record 10 minutes. I've ever done anything that only took 10 minutes. Anyway, to start off, we got Malcolm Gordon versus Denise Bandar. Malcolm Gordon literally looks like an orc from Lord of the Rings, and like an evil spawn of Mordor. He knew the dude's arm was broke, so he purposely tried to snap it, and he did. It looked like he dislocated the elbow. Gross. I want to root for you, Malcolm. I do. But you look like Sauron is your master. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. All right, then we had Philip Rowe, Fresh Prince, versus Jason Witt. Philip Rowe, watch out for that kid. He's scary. Anyways, Malcolm Gordon won. Philip Rowe won. Then you had Alameda versus Marquez. Alameda was raining hammer fists like Donkey Kong. Oh, man. That was scary. Then we had Alexis Davis versus Strickland, who was just like, if I can't land an armbar, I'm going to lose. She didn't land. Well, actually, I take that back. She landed an armbar. And Alexis Davis was just like, I don't need to do the elbow. And just like turned out of it and then won the fight. Strickland threw up a lot of arm bars quickly though. Like you could see it like, oh no, she's got the arm. Then we had Chidi versus Mark Andre, and Chidi hit him with a left inside leg kick and then a jab right straight. That was all she wrote. And listen to his voice. He sounds like what's that dude's? Now I can't think of his name, but when you hear his voice, you'll know what I'm talking about. You know, the black dude from the movies with the voice. And then we had Akeem Dawodu versus Triziano. Dawodu is like what Malcolm Gordon was supposed to be, but they messed him up when they made him in the vat of mud and blood in Mordor's lair. You get what I'm saying? Dawodu's a good fighter. I always expect him to win. He doesn't always. He won tonight. Decision. That was a tough fight too. They were hitting hard. Like every hit sounded like somebody got knocked out. Nobody got knocked out. Then you had Miles Johns versus John Castaneda. I feel like Castaneda just did everything better than Johns. Like just, if Johns was a 7 in every category, Castaneda was an 8 in every category. Wrestling, jiu-jitsu, striking, he just was better. He won by submission. You get over to the main card, you got Steven Peterson versus Julian Erosa. I feel like this is the fight of the night. It was a real slobber knocker. Everybody was bloody. It was a good fight. And then you had Treason Gore, I know that's not how you say his name, versus Brian Battle. Brian Battle, nickname Pooh Bear. Your name is Brian Battle. Your nickname is Pooh Bear. What are you doing, sir? Brian Battle walked in looking like Michael Jackson from the Remember the Time video. Brian Battle walked out of the ring looking like Michael Jackson right after the Pepsi commercial. That Gore kid didn't hit him much, but when he hit him, he busted his face open. Shouts out to Brian Battle though. I guess when he won tough, he was like the replacement for this Gore guy, and so winning this fight against Gore in the UFC solidifies his tough win, I guess, and shuts down some critics. Brian Battle's the real deal. He definitely does look like a princess though, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. I'm sure he could whoop my ass. I'm just saying he's beautiful. He's like T-City beautiful. All right. Next up, Sam Alvey versus Brendan Allen. And again, in the last UFC, I think it was DC, talking about who smiles more than this guy. Sam Alvey does. His nickname is Sam Alvey. When he lost, he was smiling. Smiling Sam Alvey. That's who smiles the most, DC. Anyways, he lost. He got caught with this nice little check left hook, and he just fell into it. Got submitted. Next up, we had Shavkat Rachmanov, there we go. Shavkat Rachmanov, I can't say it, versus Carlston Harris, right? From Ghana, I believe. So that Rachmanov guy is like Uzbekistan, if I'm not mistaken. He literally looks like Genghis Khan. He's wearing a Genghis Khan hat, and I guess he's a wrestler. And he normally gets people down, but this guy, Carlton Harris, is a really good jiu-jitsu dude, and he wasn't letting him get him down, so he just did a spinning wheel kick and then punched him into the sunken place. The Mongols are back. Then you got Soriano versus Maximov. Now, this is a fight, man, You got this Hawaiian dude from Ige's camp who usually is throwing bombs versus this dude from freaking Stockton, California, and Nate Nick Diaz thing. Like, he even talk and act and move like Nate Nick. Like, when they do the interview, he be like, well, you know, I ain't even fight that good. I thought I was gonna get him. Like, you a Diaz, right? So you got a Hawaiian battler versus a Diaz trained battler, and they just like wrestled a lot. And then when they did exchange, I feel like Maximov was doing probably better in the exchanges, but it was not a lot of. It was not the fight I expected it to be, especially not the co-main event. Anyways, main event, Strickland versus Hermansson, was not the main event I expected it to be. Strickland was not talking shit until like the last, like at 15 seconds in, he's got the match won, and he's like, "Come on, right here for the next 3 punches." I think Hermansson hit much harder than he expected him to, because you know Hermansson don't hit like a human. He hits like a cougar, like a mountain lion. Like, he hits like, either I'm gonna die, you gonna die. Strickland just kept him on the end of that jab. Also, I will say this for Strickland. He threw a lot of kicks, a lot of front kicks, a lot of like just those straight front kicks that were really keeping Hermansson at bay. Those are good kicks. I'm glad he's added that, or maybe not added it, but he's utilizing it more. You have to excuse me. Like I said, it's like take 5. Also, I'm on Vicodin and I still have stitches in my jaw, all that good shit. But yeah, Hermansson, I mean, at some point Strickland was literally blocking him like a kung fu movie. Just jab, jab, double jab. He was blocking punches just like that. Wax off. He was blocking punches like that. Hermansson was throwing punches. Wax off. Jab. It was boring. I mean, I feel like Strickland probably could have finished him if he had tried, but I think he didn't want to take the chances, and I think when Hermansson did hit him all 7 times, he hit him in the face. He hit him really hard, like enough to give Strickland pause that he didn't want no more of that. But I mean, just look at their faces. Strickland's nose was bleeding, but he didn't have any real visible damage, whereas Hermansson's whole face was just knotted up and little cuts and bruised everywhere. Like, he really beat Hermansson up. It was a fight night, so, you know, fight of the night, Erosa versus Peterson, Orc of the night, Gordon, just was like, I knew his arm was broken, so I made sure to put extra weight on it so it would snap. I won. This is how his eyes look too. I won. He didn't make that last sound, and he didn't actually say the exact words I just said, but go back and watch his post-fight interview with Bisping. He said it. Oh, I felt his arm break way before, so when we got down, I made sure to put weight on it. That's some orc shit. You minion of Mordor. Look at him. He looked like, his whole body is no body fat, but his face is just like, orc. He looked like Shadows of Mordor. Man filth. I hope you guys have played that game, or saw at least a few of the Lord of the Rings movies to know what I'm talking about. Anyways, this has been UFC T-Dot Breakdowns, UFC Fight Night on ESPN, Strickland versus Hermansson. Sean Strickland won. He was ranked number 7, Hermansson number 6, so I expect Strickland to be at least number 6 after this. But I mean, to be honest with you, I think that Sean Strickland is a problem. He didn't take any chances in this fight, and he won pretty. I mean, in my opinion, he won pretty. I mean, it was a split decision, and one of the judges had it for Hermansson. But like, I'm like, what fucking fight were you watching? I feel like Strickland won the fight, and I feel like if he wanted to, he probably could have took Hermansson out of there. But you know, was what it was. I'm just glad we had fights this weekend. I enjoy them all. I watch every fight like a crazy person. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. I love you. Please like and subscribe. You don't have to share it. This is garbage, but just like and subscribe so the algorithm picks it up. You know what I'm saying? UFC T-Dot Breakdowns.